Welcome back. The star witness in the federal sex trafficking case against Sean Diddy Combs is back on the stand for a second day after explosive testimony on day one. Singer Cassie Ventura, at times in tears, described how Combs became scary and frequently violent, she said, over the course of their decade-long relationship. Her testimony revealed new details about the multi-day drug-fueled sexual encounters Combs called freak-offs that are at the center of the prosecution's case. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges. Let's bring in NBC's Rahema Ellis joining us from outside the Manhattan courthouse, and former prosecutor and civil rights attorney Charles Coleman. He's also an MSNBC legal analyst. Rahema, Ventura's testimony has been emotional. It's been at times graphic. What is the focus so far this morning?
Yeah, and that testimony has been also disturbing on it. This morning, what they started doing is they played that infamous tape from the hallway of the Los Angeles hotel where you see Diddy. He's assaulting Cassie Ventura. And the prosecutor on direct examination asked her the question being something like, during the incident at that lobby, was he speaking to you and what did he say? She says that I wasn't going to leave him, that I couldn't. This harkens back to the majority of her testimony yesterday. She talked about essentially that her life was controlled by him, that she wasn't able to think for herself, do for herself. Everything that she did essentially was directed by Diddy. In fact, she said, ultimately at that point, Sean controlled a lot of my life, whether it was my career, the way I dressed, like everything. And I just didn't feel like I had much to say in it at that time, being like really super young, naive, total people pleaser. We have to remember that she was 19 years old when she met Diddy and signed a record contract with him, hoping she would do 10 records. She ended up doing one. She's now 38 years old, 8 months pregnant, about to have her third child. She is suggesting and testifying yesterday, as you could see from that full screen we showed you, that he was controlling everything she did, including the fact that she said that there were these freak-off, these sex parties that were drug-fueled sex parties. She pointed out that she did make the calls to the escorts. One of the things she said was because she wanted to find someone that she would be okay with having sex with to please Diddy. We should also mention that the testimony actually got underway a little bit later today because we're working on some procedural things. But it's been said that she might have about another half day on the stand under direct examination, and then it'll be cross-examination. Anna?
Thank you, Rahema Ellis, for that reporting. Charles Combs' team has admitted that there was domestic violence in this relationship, but they say that is not the crime he's charged with. How do you think the prosecution here will use Ventura's testimony to address and to prove the charges at hand here, which are racketeering and sex trafficking?
Well, they do have a problem with respect to the racketeering charge, and that's one of the things that the defense seized on during their opening statements. They said, you're not going to hear any of the prosecution's witnesses take the stand and say that they were involved in a racketeering case or a larger criminal enterprise. And so that's something that the prosecution is going to struggle with. However, I do anticipate that what we're going to see, Anna, is the prosecution use the narrative that Cassie Ventura has put forward in order to bolster her credibility and ultimately the credibility of what the jury is seeing when they look at Sean Combs. The vision and the visual of what they have presented in the defendant is very different than the person being described. If you look at the images of Sean Combs coming from the court sketcher, he's in court, he's grayed, he hasn't dyed his hair, he's not even wearing a suit. And one of the reasons for that is because they're trying to separate the image of someone who is super powerful, flashy, very wealthy, very much so in control of everything, the way that Cassie Ventura has described, and seeing someone who is now in court as a broken man. The defense wants to separate those images as much as possible. The prosecution wants to bring them as close as they can, and they're going to use her testimony to do it.
Cassie is pregnant. She's been emotional in court. She's cried. What happens when it's the defense turn to ask her questions? How might they approach cross-examination.
This is going to be a very tricky cross-examination for the defense because they cannot be too aggressive given the visuals that the jury has already seen with respect to the videotape and the testimony that has already been given. At the same time, I do expect them to seize on the notion that, look, you waited a long time before you brought a civil suit against Diddy. You settled that civil suit for 8 figures, and now you're in court because you have an axe to grind. You are a woman who wanted to do 10 albums, and you only did 1 album. And Diddy went on, and he helped bolster the career of other women in the industry, and that made you upset, didn't it? So they're going to try as best they can to paint her out as someone who has an axe to grind, but that's going to be difficult because the level of aggression and assertiveness that the defense can approach her with has to be tempered.
And, of course, that video from the L.A. hotel room is probably seared into the jurors' minds at this point. Charles Coleman, thank you for helping us through this stage of this trial, which could go on for 8 weeks. We'll have you back to continue the conversation. Thanks so much.